Hi, fam. Oh, I've missed you. It's been a couple of days. Been out of touch for a couple of days, and I apologise. I've been I had to focus on something that was really important and very exciting, but I can't tell you about that just yet. It's a secret. And I got my lip pierced, so I did have a bit of a lisp yesterday. Probably still got it. Just getting used to it. So yeah, apologies. My, oh my. What has been going on? A lot. Fear not, I have it all for you. This is probably going to go on longer than usual because I've obviously got to catch up on a couple of days. There's just so much to tell you. So bear with, strap in, get yourself a drink, probably some Kleenex, might have some tears, some snacks, you know, the usual. Where to begin? This is the question. So maybe I'll start with some good news. So there's a lot of cray. I think everyone can see this now. Just coming from everywhere, really. But it's okay. It's going to be just fine. We've got this. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, obviously with what's going on in India, Emirates, this was on Bloomberg, Emirates have they've changed their flight. I don't know what you would call it. I forgot. They've changed their plans basically, so that they're using as many of their planes as they possibly can to send aid. And they're doing like a humanitarian thing, so they're sending as many of their flights as they can to India, carrying equipment, PPE, all of the stuff to help India. And I think that's amazing because they're cancelling passenger flights to do it. They're doing it at their because this is more important. Helping people is more important, and I just think that's amazing. So big up Emirates, because obviously even during this time, how badly airlines have been hit, and they are making their fleet available to help everyone in India that's suffering. And that's amazing. They're putting everyone above themselves and above money. So they deserve a massive shout out. Now, what was I going to tell you? I was going to read to you these 4 prayers, right? So they're all in English, but one's One's an Islamic prayer, one's a Jewish prayer, one's a Sikh prayer, one's a Christian prayer. And they're all prayers for peace. Because we need a bit of that right now, don't we? And I find it quite odd that so many wars that have taken place have been over religion. Yet the actual, texts themselves are for peace and love. And it just seems so the totally opposite of what it's meant to be. So I thought I'd just read those first. You have to bear with me though, because my laptop's working at like Dickensian pace here. A Jewish prayer for peace. Here we go. Come, let us go to the mountain of the Lord, that we may walk the paths of the Most High. And we shall beat our swords into plowshares and our spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. And none shall be afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken. That's the Jewish prayer for peace. Now we've got a Muslim prayer for peace. Prayer for the nation. O Allah, our Lord, unite our nation around the principles of justice, peace, love, and faith. Put peace and love in our hearts for the diversity that makes our country so beautiful. O Lord, most strong, give us the strength to protect and care for our neighbours. O Lord, we pray for our nation, the United Kingdom, to remain loving, compassionate, remove prejudice from our hearts and enable us to love our brothers and sisters of all faiths and none. Make our hearts and minds aware of our heritage, fulfill duties and responsibilities as a citizen of our country. Allah, most merciful, allow us to show kindness to those most vulnerable in society. Protect us from evil, inspire and guide us in defending those open to abuse. Lord, most generous, allow us to give in charitable activity and to help those most in need. Lord, give our government vision and wisdom as they take decisions affecting people of our world. Allah, as our sustainer, allow us to care for our environment and sustain this world for future generations. Lord, most merciful, most generous, please give us the patience to continue to learn from one another and work towards a more peaceful and kind world. Lord, I've just said that one, sorry. Make true in our nation the ideas of freedom and justice and brotherhood for all who live for them. Make our hearts generous so that we may treat others as we wish to be treated ourselves. Help us to share that which we have with others for your sake. Strengthen us, love us, and be kind to us all. So that's done that one. So now we've got a Christian prayer for peace. A prayer to heal. Oh, yeah. Okay. Loving God, please grant me peace of mind and calm my troubled heart. My soul is like a turbulent sea. I can't seem to find my balance, so I stumble and worry constantly. Give me strength and clarity of mind to find my purpose and walk the path you've laid out for me. I trust your love, God, and know that you will heal this strength, just as the sun rises each day against the dark of the night. Please bring me clarity with the light of God. In your name, I pray. Now we've got peace prayer. It's a Sikh priest pair. Hold on. Oh, it's coming. Bear with me. Right, I'm going to have to go back to that because it's not loaded. My point is this. We all want the same thing. And it's becoming evident as the minutes and days pass by, who are the ones that don't want it. You see what I mean? Because they're just, if you think about what's going on in Israel and with in Palestine, okay. Now, I've been trying to do my research on the history of this situation because it goes back a long way. But I've seen some videos by people who live around there, and they're most people just want to get on. They just want to have the two-state solution that was always been promised but never delivered. And then you've got to think, well, why if everyone's wants that and that works and the people are okay with that and get on, why then can the people in charge simply not deliver what the people want? Why? You know, because if it just feels like they're working as some other, they're doing something different to what everyone else wants, and then it's a kind of like, well, this is really reflected in every government everywhere on various levels to do with what's been going on in the last year. Because the people that are in these positions, who were voted in by the people for the people, but they get in, and then they just don't stick to that. They don't stick to their manifestos, which is why they were voted in. If people even bothered looking, this is what's even more concerning. Yeah, because these systems have gone on so long and been wrong for so long, but people don't even care. And I think that's what they really bank on, is that people aren't, up until this now, you know, that people that have traditionally always voted Labour will vote Labour, people that traditionally voted Conservative vote Conservative, and then there's that bit in the middle of not bothered, don't care. And that's what they try and target, to go one way or the other. But even the ones that vote on these sides, do they even know? It's my point. Like my mum, yeah, she's always voted Conservative. And I hate to say, I indeed used to vote Conservative. Not. So, but you know why I voted Conservative? It's not because I looked up anything to do with what they did. I voted Conservative because they voted Conservative. And it is as simple as that. That was the only reason I voted Conservative, because my parents voted Conservative. So I thought that they knew best, right? So I did not this year. I haven't, no. Let's just get that right. Just #just saying. But I never checked, previous years. I never actually checked. I never looked at what their manifestos or were. I just voted Conservative because my parents voted Conservative. I wonder how many people can say that same thing. Why are you a Republican, or why are you a Democrat, or why are you a Conservative, why are you a Labour? Why? Is it just because everyone before you was, and you believe that's how you've always, that is the only reason? Because everyone around you votes it, so you do. And why do they? Why? Is it because their parents did, and their parents, and so on? And does anyone along that line question why? Really, and not just question it, like actually research what these people are doing, what they have done. Are they what are they stuck to anything they've said in the lead up to getting elected? And while they're elected? See what I mean? And then you've got to factor in what part does mainstream media play in all of that, and also what we see on social media and how they use targeted ads. Because if you watch that film, The Greatest Hack, which is about this exact thing, on how Trump got elected and how he used Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, and it's using AI, it's using software, it's using targeted ads. And unless you own a business that uses social media to make money, you wouldn't necessarily know about the back end of social media platforms that enable you to target people, right? So everyone's doing it now, but it's dangerous in a political, because if, let's say, you're selling a product and you're selling it on social media, so you're selling it on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you can target who your ad goes before based on criteria, what things they've liked, or what things they're interested in, what age group they're in. There's all of these categories that you can advertise. You can basically filter down who you're advertising to. But when it's to do with politics and the sheer volume of data that they would have had access to, and what ads are they showing you, and what videos are they putting before you that are going to persuade you or manipulate you? And if they're doing it constantly, and you're somebody that just uses social media rather than to make money, you're using it as a, I don't know what you call that. How I used to use it, I suppose, is the best way, because I don't go on my social media at all unless it is just simply to post something and then come off of it. I used to sit and scroll. I'd be constantly checking who's commented, who's liked what's new, and you'd be on there for hours on end. You like miss a whole section of your day just doing nothing, literally, just like mindlessly scrolling. Like, what does that add to your life? Absolutely nothing. In fact, it's worse, because you get people so addicted to it that it's like they need it. You know what I mean? They need it for some kind of I know there's videos on this, but it's kind of like it's just attention, isn't it? That's what it is. Because if you're, I've got people that post something and then they're constantly checking to see if people have liked and commented. Like, why bother? Who cares? Who cares? What, you know what I mean? I'm not posting because I'm posting because I want a reaction to what I'm posting. I'm just posting it because I want to post something, and that is it. I could not give a fuck if 0 people like it. I'm posting it anyway. Because it's sort of anything I post is normally just sharing information or, and something I found funny or hints and tips or whatever. But I'm not posting it because I want to see how many likes I get or that people like it by commenting, wow, that's such a great post, thank you. Oh my God, I couldn't give a shit. Could not care less. I'm just sharing the information because it needs to be shared. Because it might be, might be important or relevant or whatever. But that's how it's detrimental to people's mental health, actually. And there's, again, I said, I have shared some videos on this before, but I will again. Sorry, I'm not used to this, so I'm kind of like moving it around my mouth. And I can hear it tapping against my teeth on the inside. It's weird. So it was only yesterday, so give me a break. I'm just getting used to it. Where was I going? That's the question. Where was I going with that? Just bear with me. Hold on. I found in my search to understand what is going on in the whole conflict at the moment in Israel. I've done some research, but I found this document, and it is arms sales in the Middle East. Right? This is a PDF. I don't know how it just appeared. Right? Oh yeah, here we go. This is where I was going. So, what the people want, and then still not getting, despite everyone sort of agreeing that from the video, this is from just the various videos that I've seen, and ultimately what they want is a 2-state. Well, that's what they've been promised, and they've not ever had it. And there's and I've just read you those prayers of peace from Torah, an Islamic prayer, and the Christian prayer. And obviously it's right near to Jerusalem, and that is the holy site for all 3 of the biggest faiths in the world. And it just feels like it's an odd time for this to happen. You know what I mean? Like, anyone in their right mind would go, you know what, even if we've got some beef, we're still going through a global pandemic. We're still going through a global pandemic. Now might not be the best time to start a war. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of nutnuts are in charge, that they would think about at this time to start just bombing each other. And then the guy's going, oh, what is his name? What's that guy's name? Netanyahu. Yeah, he's got a screw loose. Netanyahu's like, yeah, this is just the beginning. What? You're just bombing innocent people. You're making the military, these innocent. Remember, because people who work, people who are in armies, they're not bad people. They're hired to do a job, and then they got them killing innocent people. Where are they getting their arms from? Should I tell you? Where do they get the all of their missiles and weaponry from? Let me read you some of this. I'll put the document in. So, this document is Arms Sales in the Middle East, Trends and Analytical Perspectives for US Policy, Congressional Research Service, 2020, November. This report analyses state-to-state arms sales in the Middle East with particular focus on US transfers as authorised and reviewed by Congress. Arms sales historically have been one important means for Congress to influence US foreign policy towards the Middle East. The information in this report, including sales data, is drawn from a number of official and unofficial open sources. Arms sales are an important tool that states can use to exercise their influence. The Middle East has long been a key driver of global trade in weapons to a disproportionate degree relative to its population. Some states in this heavily militarized and contested region are major arms purchasers, empowered by partnerships with outside supporters and wealth derived from vast energy reserves. Others have relied on grants and loans from the US and other partners to supplement their modest resources to meet their defense goals. In part, due to external relationships, but in some cases increasingly independently, some Middle Eastern countries have developed military industrial bases that supply some of their own defense needs and generate profits through arms exports. The United States is the single greatest arms supplier to the Middle East. Right, I'm just going to pause there. So, war is just, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It is just it's a money-making machine. Right? Why, if we want peace, if people truly want peace, why are we even making weapons? Why are they in existence? The sheer fact that these companies exist, these defense contractors and missile manufacturers and nuclear bomb manufacturers, the sheer fact that they exist is nuts. Because that's basically encouraging people. It's encouraging and selling weapons everywhere. Where if weapons weren't there, you wouldn't have war like that. would you? You wouldn't be able to just go, oh, I'm pissed off with you, throw a fucking missile. No, you wouldn't. You'd have to be an adult and sit around a table and have a conversation about it until you sort it out. Like, but we just these businesses, these manufacturers of these fucking death machines, just keep pumping out fucking crazier and crazier weaponry, which militaries everywhere is like, oh, me please, and they sell it to everybody, and then everyone's just as fucking dangerous. And even worse, they're making it with like AI and autonomous weaponry. Like, cuckoo people, these, like, what? It's just going the wrong way. It is less is more. Less is more. Like, just having it is just dangerous. Don't need it. If people didn't have these weapons, you wouldn't be able to start wars like this. You wouldn't be able to do what's going on now. They're just having airstrikes from one side to the other, and they don't give a shit about. They're just imploding from the inside. They don't give a shit about the people on either side. Or their own people on their militaries, in their military. They don't care. They're just, the insanity of it. They're destroying their own country, their own, cities, their own people, their own infrastructure, their own economy, their own businesses. And why? Because they can't sort out something that is, in fact, there was it's over at that section of land, and if they just had stuck to the two-state solution that was proposed back in the 50s, 60s, which never came about, this wouldn't be happening now. But they haven't, and this is happening. What about these people? What about the people of the countries that they're supposed to be looking after? Just like shooting missiles at each other. It's not looking after each other. It's not showing love. It's not showing care. It's not showing understanding. It's not showing rationale. It's not showing anything other than hate. And for somewhere that is supposed to be the holiest of holy places, where the primary sites for Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, all of their holy sites are right there, and this is what's going on around it. Just the brain can't fathom how they can even justify it when they're right there to this like spiritual place, and all of those texts, all of all of those faiths are supposed to be about thou shalt not kill, thou love thy neighbor, peace, look after those that are less fortunate than ourselves. But instead, they choose war. And it's straight cuckoo. Nothing good comes from war. Nothing good comes from war. Nothing good has ever come from war. Ever. Ever, ever. And I would have hoped that people would have learned that by now. Like, you don't have to look, you don't have to be a scholarly historian to just literally have a brief history of time and understand that war doesn't work. Not for, not for all. It doesn't. So let me go back to this document for a hot minute. The arms sales. So the US is the greatest single arms supplier to the Middle East by volume and value, and has been for decades. So the US is providing the weaponry to what's going on. However, there are other major producers. Russia, France, China are also key players in the region, and their transfers of some sophisticated but smaller volume and value items, such as armed unmanned aerial vehicles and air defense systems, may have outsized effects on the region's security. These countries' respective strategies and goals for arms sales appear to differ in some ways. So this, and it gives you, or this document gives you by each country: Egypt, Iraq, Israel, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, on what the US is selling to them. It's like, how can you be peacekeepers if you're selling them the weapons that are causing enabling their war? Enabling it to continue. And you want to come out on mainstream media like, oh, everyone's like, oh, we must have peace. It's like, what are you talking about, you two-faced chump? You lot are the ones selling the fucking guns. You're selling the missiles. I can't take this level of lie. It's like, oh man, you're so good at it. You've been so good at it for so long. Like, they're just lying to us, barefaced lying to us. And then they come out and they want to be all like, oh yeah, we really want to ask everyone, that Israel stops bombing and Hamas stops bombing. Shut up! Stop selling the fucking stuff then. Stop selling them the stuff. That might actually work. Your words don't mean shit. All talk, no fucking action. And there's a couple of things that have been not what's the right word? Not stewing, brewing. No, not brewing either. Just in my mind. One is going back to this magic, Esoterica, Kabbalah, how do we say it? There's something in that keeps coming up. It's coming up all the time, which I said to you back at the beginning. It's like this, back on this John D and this there's something in this, and alchemy. Do you know? I'm going to put a link in just in case don't know what that is. It's really hard to describe. It's just easier to read it or watch something. In fact, I've got a really cool channel called Esoterica. That's the actual channel name. And he talks all about this. So it's like history, philosophy, theology, alchemy, and how all of that sort of is all important at the same time through history. It's really interesting. It's kind of mind melt if you're not ready for it, but it's really, really interesting. Just understanding where some things come from, particularly in relation to faith and in different points in time in history and how things happened. So it's really, really interesting, and it also bears some relevance on the gang up the top there, for sure. So I'm going to be going back. I'm going to be deep diving into that for the next few days, just to get my back in the zone on those topics, because I came off them for a bit. But the other thing that came to me was watching Pointless again. I love watching Pointless. I just love learning new things, but it doesn't matter what topic it is. I'm just like, I'm like, you know, I said to you before, it feels like I'm back at, not back at school per se, but like, just everything is exciting, let's put it that way. So on yesterday there was, and the day before, the same name came up. So because it kept coming up, I was like, oh, I'll look into this. So firstly, there was someone called Samuel Pepys, whatever his name is, Pepys, I think it is, right? So Samuel kept a diary, right? Let me bring this up. This is important for where I'm going to go next. Samuel Pepys was a member of Parliament, right, in 1633. But he kept here we go. He was an administrator of the Navy of England and member of Parliament who is most famous for the diary he kept for a decade while still a young man. Pepys had no maritime experience, but he was rose to the Chief Secretary of Admiralty under both King Charles II and King James II through patronage, diligence, and his talent for administration. His influence and reforms at the Admiralty were important in the early professionalism of the Royal Navy. But he kept a diary of the Fire of London, that's it. It's crazy, right? My point from this is that everyone now, you know, the internet is the new, is not the new, but everything we do on here is there forever. So much like this guy, he's still famous from the diary he wrote in 1633. People still know him for that. So every single person that is creating content on the internet, that will be there forever. Just remember, Remember, you could not only just influencing for right now, but you could be an influencer in 500 years' time, because it will always be there. Because as things have changed and we can learn online, we can share online, everything's online, right? Everything's digitized. So in the past, it was through books written, but now it's through the content that is created online that will remain there forever. So we're part of something. So even in that sense, we're part of, forget spiritually for a minute, but on this, we're part of something forever. So the importance of now, because of what's gone on in the last 12 months, this is a period of time, because of COVID, because of think about all the crazy stuff that's gone in the last, and still going on, in the last 16 months. It is the craziest 16 months of all time. Of all time. And we're all part of that, because we're here right now. And as a moment, as a period of time, it will always be talked about in future years, no matter what happens. Much like previous things, the Great Depression, Spanish flu, previous wars, whatever, all of these things have been a period of time. They will be talked about and taught, lessons learned for hundreds of years, longer than. So we're in this sort of moment where our decisions matter. Who we become matters for all of us and for generations to come. That is how important this time is. It's more. It must be more than just getting through the day. We must implement things now from the lessons, not only that we've learned in the last year, but also just that history has taught us that we still are ignoring. It's not just because something hasn't been done before does not mean it cannot be done. Just because systems haven't been changed, way things have been done, you've always been done one way, does not mean it has to always be done that same way. If it's not working and has never worked, and history tells us so, then we simply change it. And there's ways and means to do that. got the people, you've got the technology, you've got the money, you've got the momentum. There's nothing stopping us. Fear of what? Fear of what? Nothing. No? What's scary is not achieving our individual and collective potential. That's what should be the scary thing. Not trying because we think it might be too hard to change. I'm not trying because we're scared of failing. It's like we won't fail. Because everyone wants the same thing ultimately. And I was thinking like, this Eurovision comment, and this is like a real tangent. This is going to seem like a tangent to you, but it isn't in my head. And so there's a couple of things. If you think about, I'll go back to Eurovision a sec. If you think about diversity and equality, and all these people that think that, they've been the capitalist way, a greedy way, they're missing a trick, actually, because it's a proven fact that companies that have a greater, that are diverse in terms of gender and ethnicity, and age and ability, all of the hold on. It's a proven fact, like a financial, and this is important because if all you do is care about money, then you this would be important to you. You think, which is companies that have done this already, of which there are many, at least starting to, which is ensure that their workforces are diverse in all areas and equal in terms of pay and equal in terms of gender and race across all job levels from the C-suite down. Businesses that have done that have found that guess what? You're going to get a better culture within your business. You're going to get a greater level of cooperation and understanding. You're going to get greater ideas and inspiration from all areas of society and community. You're going to get a greater staff retention and loyalty because you are making that statement that you give a shit about diversity and equality. And as a result of that, do you know what happens? Well, you're going to get a much broader customer base as well, because your customers are going to see that you as a business are taking this seriously and are not just talking all the big talk that everyone is doing, and you're actually implementing these structural changes in terms of staff, and they're going to come to you because of that. They're going to come to you because they respect the fact that you are making these changes, and that's what people want now. We don't want it next year. We don't want it in 5 years. We want it now. We want fairness now. We want justice now. We want equality now. We want diversity across all sectors across all verticals in all jobs, and we want gender pay equality as well. That's what we want. And if you're going to be a business that's going to stand out and lead that charge, then you know what? You're going to be the fucking winner, because everyone's going to want to work there, and everyone's going to want to buy whatever it is you're selling. Doesn't matter what you're selling. Everyone want to buy from you because they respect you for making those changes. And you know what happens in turn? That means you make more money. And if you're greedy or you care about our money, you should be doing it just for that reason, then, shouldn't you? These people need to wake up. Because Unilever have done it. Yeah, big up Unilever. So they've done it. They made the change. They did it, and they did it a long time ago. In fact, I spoke about this a long time ago. As soon as I saw the article on it. So they've implemented these things. They're making sure that they are recruiting fairly. They're making sure that their workforce is diverse. They're making sure that is diverse throughout all levels of all roles, all levels, C to C-suite. And they're making sure that the gender pay is the same. And you know what they've seen, and also they're expecting their suppliers as well to live up to what they see as their mission statement. So they're expecting the same level of change from their suppliers, and if their suppliers don't change, then they're going to change them to ones that do. Yeah, so they're leading that. You want to be a leader. You don't want to be at the end of this. This is a moment in history, as I just said. This is a moment in history. This is future history. We're all part of it. We're all talking about it. We're all sharing it. And it's only ever going to get bigger. And the momentum is only ever going to get more as more and more people are reached, which we can do because this is the internet and it is everywhere. So it's never going to stop. So you're either going to be at the front and you're going to lead the change and be remembered in history as the ones that led to ensure equality and diversity within your workforce at all levels, or you're going to be at the back and then you're going to be remembered for being the ones that resisted it, for the ones that were kicking and screaming, moaning about change, moaning about girls being equal, moaning about race within workplace, and how, trying to justify why you haven't got a diverse workforce. So which end of that do you want to be on? You want to be at the front. You want to be leading that charge. You want to be remembered as the ones that did the change, be the change makers, be the history makers, not the ones at the end, the stragglers. You can see them. You see them about the place. What's going on in GOP? And these straight fascists. Like, I just saw a story earlier today, and it was about, where is it? I can't remember. It was some one of the states. They've used taxpayers' money to join as a member of a fascist group, like a Republican, a GOP senator. This should be concerning, no? Like, they're standing out. They're making themselves stand out by continuing this absolute insanity and hatred. They're just exposing themselves. And they will be remembered for that. So it's important that we realise the importance of what's going on here, the magnitude of what we are all part of right now. We know that. Not only that, individually, every single person is important. Every single person is important. Every single person's voice matters. Their story matters. Their life experience matters. And we just have to keep going, because knowing that we are part of it. And that every single thing that we do, no matter how small, is contributing to this change. Because it's happening everywhere. So it does matter, and it is making a difference. So what the other thing I was going to say is about Eurovision. That's it. Sidestep. And that is on next Saturday. And what I was thinking was how awesome it would be if everyone everywhere just really got behind it. I'll tell you why. It's amazing. Like, if you haven't seen it, I just love singing, dancing, art, performance, theatre, costume, lights, stage, all of that jazz. Yeah, that's just me in a nutshell. So there's that element of it. But at this time, again, it's important because we need to support each other, and it's been a really shit year for a lot of people, and that is just a sort of it's a celebration of all of those countries. Oh, and that's a side note as well. Why can we have World Vision? You know, why is it only for Europe? Just as a side note. Maybe next year we can have World Vision. That'd be cool. Anyway, but it's just a chance for everyone to get behind each other and just support each other and just let all that fucking nonsense shit go. Yeah, we've got each other. Forget what these people up here, these cray are doing. We've got each other. And if we all sit and support that and watch it and just enjoy the merriment and joy that is singing, dancing from all different countries, and just really embrace it. It's also that thing of everyone will be watching something at the same time. You know, everyone will be watching the same thing at the same time, singing along, dancing along, drinking along, whatever, laughing along to the jokes, you know, but all at the same time. And I love the idea of that, like billions of people all watching the same thing at the same time and just really enjoying it. That is like the coolest thing. So yeah, big up Eurovision, Saturday the 22nd of May. Be in it, be involved, embrace it, because it is just pure joy for hours. So that's what I'm going to be doing. That's the vibe I'm in. And I'll be thinking of everyone else watching it at the same time and how cool that is. Anyway, I've gone on for an hour. I really have not covered half of what I was going to cover. But my thing is sore. from talking. I'm not used to it with this in. It's weird. So I will be back to pest you again tomorrow for probably twice, to be honest, to cover all of this. But until then, I love you. And stay strong. We've got this. We have got this. You see that yesterday? Today? Oh, I'm losing track of days. What is it? Saturday, isn't it? Saturday. 180 locations of protests, worldwide demonstrations for freedom. Whoop, whoop. You know. See what I'm saying? More and more and more and more. So, be strong. It's okay. We'll be okay. And lots of love to all the people who are suffering from loss in either from COVID or from war. They can't not listen forever. The longer they not listen and the louder we shout, the worse they look. Do you know what I mean? Just proves they ain't listening to a thing. Proves it. So keep going. So, love you guys. And I will see you tomorrow.